Hello YouTube, Empathy Relics here, and today I'm bringing you guys a video showing you guys my final stats in Black Ops 3. So I'm going to show you guys my combat record. As you can see, I haven't played very much zombies at all, and I played the campaign offline, so it says I haven't played it. But just going to be showing you guys my multiplayer stats in general. I don't really care about stats too much, but I just think it's cool because it'll give me something to look back on. So 2.1 KD overall, my calling card showcases, and only ended up getting the one nuclear, but I'm not really a respawn player. I play a lot of search, and when I do play respawn, it's not really to go for nuclear streaks, but you know, that's kind of probably an excuse. I could have got more than just the one, but it is what it is. And then I got a chain kill and an ultra kill. You know, nothing too crazy there. When you've played it for what, 12 days, 17 hours, you tend to get these things naturally. So 2.1 KD overall, 1.24 win loss, and a 332 score per minute. The score per minute's bad because of search and TDM, mainly search though, and KD is not very good, but I don't really care about it, and the win loss is awful, but win loss is kind of something that's out of my control. And to be honest, I'm surprised I played that much. 12 days, 17 hours is a fair bit of game time, especially when you consider in like the last 6 months of its cycle, I've probably only contributed like 2 days of that game time. So yeah, I played it a lot when it first came out because there was nothing else to play. So as you can see, I'm level 299. I probably should have got to level 300 before doing this video, but you know what the hell. So in pubs, 2.15 KD, as you can see, it's a bit better than the 2.1. Still not great. It could have probably been around 2.5 if I cared about it, but you know, I stopped playing this game, you know, frequently enough, so every time I'd go back on it, I'd be like rusty, and I just stopped caring about stats. It didn't worry me. At one point, I think I had it up to like 2.28 or something like that when I was trying to have a good KD, but now, you know, it doesn't worry me one bit. So into the weapons, Kudo's got my most kills, which I'm kind of surprised about. 1.76 KD, which is kind of bad really for the Kudo. Kudo's a good gun, but I think I used that a lot when when the game first came out, which is why it's not so great. VMP, 3,124 kills with a 2.04 KD. Probably the submachine gun I'm best with. M8, 2.2 KD. I could easily get a better KD than 2.2, but you know, if I'm versing good players, I generally pull out the M8. But you know, it's probably the best gun in the game, and it probably, well, it definitely is if you got a good internet connection, and even without a good internet connection, it's still a very good gun. KN is a really good pub gun. 2.07 KD with it. It was way better. It's dropped a fair bit. I don't know why. I don't remember using it too much recently, but Man of War 2.03. Again, a really strong weapon, especially if you have good internet connection. I unfortunately have horrible internet. I play on wireless and I live in a rural area, but you know, it's still a very good gun regardless. Extremely high damage. Pharaoh, I didn't like this gun too much, and kind of surprised to see that I have that many kills with it. And 1.88 KD is certainly not bad, but this gun was just way too inconsistent for me. Sometimes it'd kill really quick, like in 6 bullets, and then other times it'd just take like more than 10, and it just made it nearly unusable at times. The HVK, I hated this gun when the game first came out. I think it got slightly better later on, but I did enjoy using this gun later in this game's life cycle because it was like an aggressive AR, and that suits my playstyle. You know, a little bit. If I want to run around and be a bit more aggressive, I can still use an assault rifle. So the HVK was good for that. The Weevil, I do like the Weevil. I used it a fair bit when it was a piece of shit. It still isn't too much better after like all the buffs it received, but it's definitely better than what it was. The 1.8 KD isn't bad, and it's probably the best gun to use in ground war given it's got 50 bullets in the clip. XR2, extremely strong weapon. 2.25 KD with it. Kind of surprised it's not higher as well, to be honest, but You know, this gun, you could make a case for it being the best gun in the game. The only thing I don't like about it is it's got a weird recoil pattern, so sometimes it's hard to hit shots, but if you can try and hit your shots, this gun one bursts frequently and is always a two burst kill at worst. Then the Vespa, I used the Vespa a fair bit when the game first came out and it was extremely strong, and then I used it when it got nerfed and was weak again, but I still like the Vespa, I still like using it even now, even though it's not as strong, but 1.96 KD is very good, especially with, you know, a high fire rate SMG, but that's mainly because of how strong it was earlier in the game. The Shiva, I was really good with the Shiva, but it's kind of a gun you have to use for a fair bit and get used to it again. So, you know, given that I pick up and play like maybe 2 days a month in the last few months, I haven't really used it as much. 2.24 KD is certainly not bad. Razorback, this gun's pretty bad. I don't mind it. It's kind of fun to use, but it's just way too bad. And I don't play hardcore. Apparently it's really good in hardcore. I wouldn't really know. But 1.81 KD, not too bad with it. BRM, the LMGs in this game were excellent. It was probably like, what, maybe 2.4 or something at one point, but obviously going for gold with the weapon drags it down a bit when you have to use no attachments and whatnot. Dingo 2.08, definitely one of the more underrated weapons in the game. Dingo is definitely a top tier weapon. 2.08 KD isn't that great, but yeah, it's still a very good weapon. The Brecci, or Brecci, I don't know how you guys want to pronounce it. I say Brecci. It's 1.83 KD, which is pretty good for a shotgun, and it's definitely the best shotgun in the game. You know, I use it very aggressively, so that's why KD isn't as good, but yeah, it's a really good gun. I'm surprised I didn't get more kills with it. The Dredge, 2.13 KD, again, it's all the LMGs in this game are good, and the Dredge is definitely quite good as well. A little bit inconsistent, but you know, it's still really fun to use as well. 6 burst LMGs, we haven't seen that in COD before. RK5, this gun is a piece of shit. Like, it's so inconsistent. It's not bad, but it's just so inconsistent. Sometimes at 1 burst, sometimes you can put 3 bursts into someone and they just don't die. And it's because of its inconsistency why I don't like it, but it is still my preferred pistol, just because of how good it can be at close range. The ICR got no recoil. This gun's actually pretty good to use. It's 2.06 KD is nothing too great. But honestly, if you know how to use it, if you just want to lock down lanes, this gun has no recoil, and if you can hit your shots and make sure you hit like your first 4 or 5 bullets, you can do really well with this gun. Haymaker, the Haymaker was so bad. It was probably the worst gun in the game, in like the first 5 months or so. But as soon as I got this gun gold, they decided to do a massive buff, which actually made it quite good. Honestly, it's a gun I'd consider using, you know, now as one of the better shotguns in the game. I got a 1.71 KD, but honestly, if you take away how bad it was at the start of the game, it could have been easily over 2. So Haymaker was really good and fun to use. The L-Car, you know, not too bad. It's kind of a bit inconsistent. It was a lot better when the game first came out, but then they nerfed it a bit. But still a fun gun to use. A 1.54 KD isn't bad. Gorgon, this gun is fun and unique to use, but it's just really campy when you have to use it, because you can't run around with it at all. 2.06 KDS definitely dropped, but I was mainly because I was using it with no attachments and 6 attachments and all of that, getting it gold. The MR6, 1.5 KD with it, which is kind of surprising because it's really not that good, especially after they nerfed it, you know, a little bit into the game. KRM 1.58, this gun's really, really bad. Just shoots far too slow. They either need to up the damage a bit or up the fire rate, and I think the fire rate is the way they should go. It just shoots way too slow and gets a lot of hit markers as well. Only 500 kills with that, which is kind of surprising, but I guess I got the challenges done kind of quick. The Argus, even less kills, 412. I did not like this gun one bit. Hated it. Had fucking retarded hit detection. You know, it seems like when you missed them, you would hit them, and then when you were aiming right on them, you'd miss them at times. And I didn't like that you had to aim down sights. Generally, I aim down sights with shotguns, but In Treyarch games, the hit detection just too funky, and it's better to hip fire. But with this gun, if you hip fired, you got punished with it. The HG40, this gun is awful. This is by far the worst submachine gun in the game. I don't know how I have a 1.65 KD. It's so weak. Like, I guess if you have a really good internet connection, you might get away with it, but this thing is just so weak. It's bloody shooting rubber bullets or some shit. Locust, I hate sniping and I hate the Locust. 1.22 KD. It's evidence of that, but I'm glad I got it gold. Pretty good accuracy, to be honest. 35% considering I don't really care like about accuracy at all. I just play normally. And, you know, if I shoot, I'm not worried about missing bullets for my accuracy stats or whatever. But yeah, PO6. PO6 was a fun gun to use. 1.7 KD is definitely pretty good with a sniper for me. Combat axe, combat knife. Got a positive KD with that, which is pretty good. It was not enjoyable trying to get it gold. I don't really like gun knife only. The Dracon or the Draken, 1.4 KD. This gun's pretty bad, to be honest. I didn't like it at all. SVG somehow I only have 299 kills with that, and most of that's in search, but I guess I got it gold really quick. I had no problems getting the bloodthirsties with it. SVG, definitely my favorite sniper in the game. I don't really love it, but I do like this kind of hard scoping type sniper rifles that suits my playstyle a bit better. The Banshee, I got pretty much most of those kills in search. I did get it gold, I believe. Accuracy is broken for it, but 1.4 KD. Probably the funnest gun to use in Black Ops 3. The XM53 is fucking stupid. I really did not like it. So annoying to die to when you have bloody noobs using it and they just shoot you across the map because it's like a laser beam. The wrench was kind of fun to use, but again, I'm not really into melee weapons. 1.15 KD with it. Black Cell, the KD is irrelevant because I don't even think I got a single kill with it. The Shadow Claws, absolutely hated the Shadow Claws. For some reason, the hit detection was off. I know you had to aim ahead, but it was just inconsistent for me. I really didn't like it. As you can see, negative KD with it. Didn't use it too much. And Fists, well, 7 kills, I didn't really bother. I don't know if beatdowns count with that, but I didn't really melee at all because I run tactical, so my melee button's circle. Then I have these weapons that I haven't used. I don't even know what the Enforcer is. It must be a melee weapon, but yeah. Because again, melee weapons aren't really my thing. So, let's get into the specialists. Alright, for the specialist, Tempest, 377 kills. I used 124 times. I got 3 kills per game. I don't know why I swear it wasn't kills per game at the start. I think it was like kills per use and then they changed it. I don't really know how they kept track of that. I don't know if they're accurate, so I'm just going to ignore them. But, 377 kills. The Tempest was definitely my favorite specialist and the best specialist in the game. Purifier. I didn't like the Purifier that much, but it was kind of fun to use, and it was kind of fun to try and go for, feeds with it, particularly in Ground War. But yeah, 246 kills with it. Kinetic Armor was kind of like my go-to for a majority of the game in terms of specialist abilities. Now it's not so good because it just takes far too long to get, and sometimes you can get bullshitted with it on and lose a gunfight with kinetic armor on because of the headshots and whatnot. Hive is fun to use. I definitely like using the Hive with LMGs and stuff, particularly the Gorgon. Yeah, it's pretty good if you're running aerial streaks and you have Hive and you just chuck Hives in a building, say on Havoc, that main building, and you just put Hives down everywhere around the building, so when they try and run in to take cover from a Wraith or whatnot, they die to the Hive. Scythe, I didn't like at all, but most people really loved it and could do really well with it. It's not that I didn't do too good with it, it's just I didn't like it and wasn't as good with it compared to other specialist weapons. War Machine was kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes it was really good, sometimes it was really bad. It's kind of weird. I kind of wish they made it like the Black Ops 2 War Machine, but a little bit weaker. Instead of, making grenades make them explode on impact. Like the Black Ops 2 one. You'd know what I'm talking about if you played Black Ops 2. Sparrow was awful, but not too bad. I guess 207 kills with it isn't bad. Annihilator, I didn't like the Annihilator that much. It's just a little bit too slow to shoot. This is probably its biggest problem. You only get 6 bullets with it as well, so generally you only get 4 shots off with it, which compared to some of the other specialists isn't as good. Ripper, I didn't really like the Ripper that much, but it was pretty good. I used it a little bit after it got nerfed when it didn't recharge as quickly and whatnot. Gravity Spikes, 200 kills with it. As you can see, I got 200 kills with all the specialist weapons. Gravity Spikes weren't too bad. They were kind of fun to use, especially to try and get quad feeds with. Heatwave, probably the best specialist in the game. It's just good for all game modes, really, and especially in search. Combat Focus is just good for getting high streaks. Active Camo, really good in search, especially, but other game modes as well, but particularly search, and it was kind of my go-to in search and destroy. Overdrive just does not really work that well in the game. If it was boots on the ground, Overdrive would be so much better, but because of the movement, like getting to a place quicker isn't as beneficial, and if it weren't for its super fast recharge rate, I'd say Overdrive is pretty much useless, but it is very good for shotgunning, especially with like an automatic shotgun or semi-auto shotgun. Vision Pulse, I use this so much. If you go back and look at my previous stat videos, you'll probably see the same stats for Vision Pulse back when I was like 2nd Prestige. That's basically all I used at the beginning of the game, but have barely touched it since. Psychosis, kind of rubbish. I used it a fair bit at the beginning as well in Search, but it's really not that great. Glitch is pretty bad, to be honest. Rejack, I don't like it at all. Gambler, I didn't really use too much. I have like 3 or 4 tokens for it that I can, use it, but I just don't bother that much. Mainly because I've stopped playing the game, and Rogue is basically the same as Gambler. So that's that. Equipment, I won't spend too much time on it, but use frags a lot at the beginning of the game, then cut back and use my points elsewhere. And concussions, as you can see, I don't really use a lot of equipment, but you can feel free to pause. I haven't really used any of these things much at all. So anyway, score streaks. So UAV I've used a lot. That's mainly because of search, and I run non-lethals a fair bit as well. 232 haters, 294 counter UAVs and race, 181 kills per user is pretty good with it. 312 Hun sentries, 381 hellstorms, and I'm just gonna skim through these because they're not that important. Really, it's just to show you guys what kind of streaks I use the most. And yeah, overall the streaks were pretty good in Black Ops 3. It was a rough start because of how weak they were, but definitely at the end of the game's life cycle they were a lot better. And as particularly the Rolling Thunder thing was a piece of shit when I used it, and then as soon as I stopped using it, they buffed it and made it a lot better. But yeah, that's the score streaks. Game modes now, Domination is actually my most played game mode. It's mainly because that's what I've played with friends the most, but it's my go-to game mode in Respawn. Domination in this game is actually pretty good. In other games, I haven't really liked it as much. But KD is just average, and then score per minute is pretty good, to be honest, for me at least. S&D, 2.27 KD is not too great. I could get it a lot higher, but sometimes I just want to muck around in S&D and don't try too hard. But obviously most of that has been trying. I'm kind of disappointed about the win-loss, but there's really only so much I can do, particularly if I'm playing solo. And then score per minute is actually quite good for Search and Destroy, 118. TDM, 2.27 KD, that dropped, that was like 2.4, 2.5, but TDM is like what I played when I went back to the game and just wanted to play it casually, and subsequently it dropped a fair bit, and score per minute isn't too great there. Hardpoint, the hardpoint score per minute is pretty good, but that's mainly because most of that is from Nuketown. 1.98 KD, which is a little bit worse than the others, but that's again mainly because it's on Nuketown, and I don't really like Nuketown that much, and I'm not that good on it. Safeguard, pretty good KD, very good win-loss, and I believe that's a good score per minute. I really wouldn't know, but not bad for Safeguard. Uplink, 2.5 KD, that's actually really good, considering a lot of that would be on Nuketown as well, but Uplink's, quite fun to play, and 451 score per minute is decent. I don't think it's too great, but it's decent. Kill Confirmed, didn't really play too much of Kill Confirmed. I played a fair bit at the beginning of the game, but then kind of dropped off. CTF, I played it whenever they had it in the playlist thing. I think it was like Bombs and Flags or some shit like that. And CTF was actually quite fun to play. 2.25 KD to win-loss, not bad. Fracture, yeah, I didn't really like the game mode to play. I didn't really play it much, as you can see. Actually never lost the game on Fracture, which is kind of surprising. I didn't really know that, but 1.91 KD is not very good, to be honest. Gun game, didn't really play it too much because it's too hard to find a game. Free for all, I absolutely hate free for all. I could never find a game that wasn't laggy or I didn't join in late. I played maybe one free for all to completion, maybe if that. But yeah, didn't really play free for all. I really hate the game mode. Demolition says I've only played twice, but I believe I joined late in one of those games, so I've only really played it once and did okay with it. 2.27 KD is pretty good. So now the game modes, now we'll go into Arena real quick. 1.4 KD overall is pretty good in Arena. Nearly a 2-win loss, which is very good considering that I don't really play with people like of the equal skill level. Just play with friends whenever I play Arena. And I guess not playing solo though kind of helps the win-loss, because playing solo, nearly every time I've played solo I've lost, because teammates basically comes down to it. So VMP, the KD isn't too great, but that's mainly what I use against really good players. Then the Kuda is actually not a bad KD, 1.4. Vespa I didn't really use too much, but I don't really AR very often either. I'll just scroll through those really quick. That's really all that matters. Active camo is what I use the most, in kinetic. Heatwave as well. Tempest I only used in 7 games, and War Machine. Don't know when I used Annihilator. But I've used Psychosis a little bit, and Vision Pulse. Use a lot of nades in Arena because I'm not selfish. I like chucking on tacticals, and I abused the C4s with my friends. It was pretty fun using the C4s before they got banned, because they were just so overpowered. If you would ban, what was it, like Cold Blooded or whatever, that hid you from C4s. If you ban that in Flak Jacket and just run double C4, it's pretty funny. And then Trophy System frags, whatnot. Score streaks, HC obviously because of search, and then hardpoint as well a little bit. Counter UAVs are annoying, they should have been banned, but if they weren't banned, you kind of have to use them. Cerberus, got 18 Cerberuses, which is pretty good. Hellstorms, 26, Hardened Sentry 16, Lightning Strikes, 27 of them, and 14 darts. I don't really think I use anything else. I don't know how I got a care package, because I'm pretty sure they were banned, but whatever. Guardian, I got 7 of them. I don't even remember using them, but whatever. And then, Search and Destroy, 1.67, so nearly a 1.7 KD in Search, which is quite good. A good score per minute as well, and 2.31 win-loss ratio. So I definitely carried in Search and Destroy. Hardpoint is probably a weaker game mode, because when you play Arena, you're going up against guys with good internet connections, and when you have a bad internet connection, there's nothing you can do really, because you're just losing every one-on-one gunfight, which is why I use a lot of nades, because I can't compete with people in one-on-one gunfights, especially if they've got skill to match it as well. Like, it's hard enough just matching them skill to skill, let alone when they got a massive internet advantage. But the win-loss ratio is actually pretty good. And a score per minute's not bad either. And then uplink, 1.6 KD, it's pretty good, and a 2.8 win-loss. CTF, couldn't win a game CTF, but I got a good KD and at 1.5. And yeah, that's all the game modes. For Arena, I don't really know if there's anything else to show. I think I've basically covered it all. 21 hours played in Arena. I guess I probably should have shown that. Well, I did show it, but I didn't really mention it. So, yeah, I don't think I'll worry about showing calling cards or anything like that. Wait, how do you even... I don't even remember how you check medals and stuff in this game. There we go. So I got 1 kill chain, 1 nuclear, 4 mega kills, 5 brutals, and super kills. Like, I don't really think medals are that important, really, and I don't really want to go through them. Leaderboards, I think the leaderboards, no, they didn't get reset actually, but, you know, I didn't really play that much, I guess, compared to some of my friends, and, well, there are a lot of game modes. There's a lot more than I remembered it being, but yeah, so that's it, that's my stats. As you can see, level 299, and yeah, so I got dark matter and I got the hero gear. I got gold for the specialists, so you know, kind of done what I wanted to do. I got it. Did I get 100 plus? I don't even know if I got 100 plus. I think I did. Pretty sure I did, but I haven't uploaded it. And I got nuclear, so I basically achieved everything I wanted. I got 20 bomb in search, got multiple 1v6 clutches, so no, overall Black Ops 3, it wasn't a bad COD, wasn't a great COD, and it's probably my last COD that I'll be playing, unless they remaster the entire Modern Warfare trilogy. I know they're remastering COD 4, but if they remaster the other two, I'll definitely be playing them as well, particularly MW3, which is my favorite COD. But in terms of new Call of Duty, this is probably the last one I'm going to be playing, so yeah, so sorry for the video being so long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, let me know what you thought of my stats. Or don't. Doesn't really matter. As I said, I don't really care about statistics too much. I just think it's something that I can look back on later down the track. Because basically, I'm going to be uninstalling this game and probably won't be playing it too much ever again. Like, I definitely will play it, but considering that I have to update everything and it's just going to take ages to do that, I won't be coming back to this game too often. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video.